How can you be a fan of a team and not watch last night's game and just be like, oh, God, I hope that doesn't happen to us?
Oh, man.
2 weeks into the NFL season, the Jets season's messed up, and now the Browns season gets derailed a little bit, probably. They lose Nick Chubb. And, I mean, we were talking about this before the show, Goo. It's like, I feel like we watch games now, at least I do, like watching the Indy 500, just kind of hoping there's not a crash.
How can you not? Now, I jumped up off the boss's couch when you said it. Good morning, Steiny. I was like, I wanted to hug you because I feel like I'm SOFT, but how can you not think that? And that's why you had Niner fans week 1 in Pittsburgh. Take him out. I'm going Shasky. Take him out. You know, the starters. But I know you can't live your life scared. But boy, oh boy, you see Nick Chubb go down. You think about Bosa. Niners have experienced that. Bosa got the turf monster in New York a couple years ago. You know, Brock Purdy last year in the NFC Championship game. Now that's at the end. But Steiny, I'm with you. It's affected my pleasure of watching a game in the time like Kyle. Take them out. Now, I know this past Sunday was different because it was a closer game. But I believe you're on to something. And I want to get you, Evan, and our guy Sterling, who's riding shotgun with us today, Steiny, your thoughts on, we saw 2 running backs go down, Barkley and Chubb, and then the guy after Chubb come in for Cleveland last night and just looked like O.J. Simpson. Is that why running backs aren't getting paid like they should? Because if you go down, I got Steiner coming in right behind you, Goo, and we don't miss a beat.
You think the 49ers don't miss a beat without McCaffrey?
That's an exception to the rule.
Well, then
okay, I'll
that
tell you
answers your question.
Elijah Mitchell.
What about him?
Let's put some respect on his name. When it was his show, pre-C-Mac, before when he wasn't hurt, your boy was toting the rock. Good enough?
Good enough for what?
For them to have success and be a player?
Right, but this is about a Super Bowl. This is about a flat-out Super Bowl. And if the 49ers, if they were to lose McCaffrey like Chubb, oh, God. I mean...
Well, especially now. Go ahead.
What do you mean now?
Because he's here. We know and recognize his brilliance. It runs through him. Right. But the Niners got to a Super Bowl with Mostert in their backfield, who is not as good as McCaffrey. But it still worked.
Well, if you're going to call McCaffrey one of the best backs in football, then if you lose him, it's going to hurt, I would think. I mean, to me, it's funny. I was thinking about this. I said, if you take the best player off every team, and I don't know who the 49ers' best player is. Give me a name.
Bosa.
Okay.
What might be
if you took Mahomes off the Chiefs, they're done.
Saran.
If you took Micah Parsons off the Cowboys,
wow. Okay.
My point is I think if you could take the 49ers' best player off their team and they'd still have a shot at it. Probably a better shot than any other team because they're so deep. But McCaffrey,
that's interesting.
Boy, I gotta.
So you don't care about anything that when I say about pre-McCaffrey. The Niners were NFC Championship game without him, Steiny, and a Super Bowl.
Guru, you can't have it both ways. I'm not going to let you.
Cake and eat it too?
Yes, you can't. Because you're the guy who says, ever since they got McCaffrey, they're scoring 30-plus points a game. So they're a different team with McCaffrey.
Facts. Yeah, and Purdy. Well, let's be honest. And this no shade at Brock. If Brock were to go down, I think we'd see the best version of Mr. USC.
I mean, I could be wrong, but I think if the 49ers lose McCaffrey, they ain't winning it. If they lose Purdy, they ain't winning it. If they lose Bosa, they ain't winning it. And maybe Debo. Maybe.
Debo.
But, I just...
We're being negative, though, huh? But it's a real thought.
No, we're not being negative.
Chubb, his
Every
season's
49er over. Fan worth their salt is watching games this year and saying, please stay healthy, please stay healthy, please stay healthy, please stay healthy. You can't get, and it's the NFL. You can't get around it. You just can't get around it. There's things that could happen to derail your season, and they just happened to the Jets and probably the Cleveland Browns. By the way, congrats to the NFL. They found the 4 worst teams in football and put them on TV last night. Those teams stink.
So does
and let me
Derek
tell you
Carr.
something.
Yeah.
Here's what.
Yeah.
Here's what.
Go
you
ahead,
need, you
baby.
need to eliminate this from your repertoire.
Oh.
Don't ever say again, oh, Kyle Shanahan passed on Deshaun Watson. He stinks. He stinks. Good.
But he fell off, and
I don't
maybe
care.
the football
He
guys
stinks.
didn't like how him still back
Terrible.
on. He
And
made
Wilson
some good
Pickett.
throws. Yeah.
Wilson Pickett is not very good
That's
either.
but dude, man.
What's
And
his name?
either-
Pickens? Slim Pickens, quarterback for
Pickett.
the
Well,
Pittsburgh.
Canada might be out of a job. Their offensive coordinator here in the next few days or hours. But, yeah, that was bad football last night. And I'll say this just about Bosa, because I know he's, from a stat perspective, he's gotten off to a slow start. Don't forget about Watt for Defensive Player of the Year. It's been Micah Parsons and Bosa. Don't forget about old Watt. 3 sacks against the Niners, and he got a scoop and score yesterday. Off to a good start. It's just 2 weeks, though.
TJ Watt plays for the.
And this is the Niners, fans. This is Friday for the Niners. Steiny's got a game in 2 days.
Yeah.
48 hours. I feel different.
But it's kind of like our Thursday.
No, we got Friday
Yeah,
to
but it's-
react, which will be
Yeah, but
our
it's
Monday.
2 days before the game.
48 hours.
2 shows before the
Yeah.
game. So it's like Thursday.
Okay, got you.
Why-
still.
925 says Steiny cracking me up. Why? Other than my magnetic
Wilson
personality?
Pickett, yeah.
Oh.
Well, that was material.
He's a musician. Was a musician.
I know Steiny.
He's Bobby Blue Bland, guys like that.
One of my
you know
dad's
anything
favorite.
about you know
Come
any
on, blues. Lucille? What about Lucille? That's what he called his guitar.
I didn't know that.
Okay.
I did not know that.
Oh, boy.
Let me ask you a question, 49er fans.
I think that's what he called his guitar. We'll find out. Go ahead.
Has Kyle Shanahan changed as a head coach?
What do you mean?
Has he changed? Has he gotten more aggressive?
Oh.
I know they've only played 2 games, but I was thinking about a couple plays, Goo, or a couple. First of all, first drive of the season, they have a 4th and 2 midfield. They go for it. First drive of the season against the Steelers, they get it. On Sunday against the Rams, to me, let's look at some of the things they've done.
All right.
Obviously the quarterback sneak with 1 second to go is what everybody remembers. But what about the fact that as the Rams, why did he do this? As the Rams are driving down the field at 10-10 late in the second quarter.
Okay.
Why was Kyle Shanahan calling timeout? Why was he calling timeouts when they had a chance to get the ball back? Why was he calling timeouts? Can somebody, 888-957-9570.
It was rather peculiar.
Evan.
I don't have the answer.
Evan, why do you think, well, you know what? I'll put it on. Why did Kyle Shanahan, why was he calling timeouts when the Rams were driving the field late in the second half? And the only thing I can come up with, Evan, is Jimmy Garoppolo ain't the quarterback anymore. That's why I think he was calling timeouts to say, if they score, even though I'm going to use my timeouts, we're going to have time left on the clock. And we now have Brock Purdy, not Jimmy Garoppolo. So you know what? I'm gonna play it like this. I can't understand any other reason why. What do you think, E?
I agree. I think it has to do with the quarterback, but then it does present a question of why you were so lackadaisical during that final 90-second drive when you have no timeouts. That could be on Purdy. That could be on Shanahan.
Everybody.
But I think with a young quarterback, you would like to at least give him one timeout to work with in case you got to take a sack, in case something happens, in case there's an unforeseen event. And then we're looking at it as a positive because Brock Purdy capitalized with 1 second left. But if anything else wrong goes on that drive, you don't have a timeout to bail yourself out.
Yeah. How about this theory? Let's just say they have Garoppolo. At that point, maybe Shanahan doesn't call timeouts.
So you're going the Super Bowl where he didn't do that because he didn't trust Jimmy and his GM was in the Hall of Famer GM was in the suite calling for timeout, but I thought that was a lack of trust in Jimmy.
Well, I think they had the ball at that point. the 49ers.
Yeah, but they weren't aggressive.
Right, but
If that were Brock Purdy now, there's no way he's not trying to savor every second.
yeah, I'm talking about the drive before the drive, because if he doesn't call timeouts when the Rams have the ball, then if and when they score, he's going to have Jimmy Garoppolo is going to have the ball with 3 timeouts left. And if they only have 10 seconds, then he doesn't have to risk. Like, I almost think he would rather have he would rather have Brock Purdy quarterbacking a 2-minute drive with no timeouts than Garoppolo quarterbacking a 2-minute drive with 2 or 3 timeouts.
Well, what that tells me is I agree with you. He's in love and infatuated, rightfully so, with Brock Purdy. And Brock Purdy's, exhibition of his ability to run this offense, Donnie, it's a 180 compared to Jimmy.